So what is copyright? I can use anything that is on the internet, right? Wrong. There are still rules you need to follow. So internet sources, there are so many things we can find on the internet, but many are copyrighted and are not free to use, especially for commercial use. So I can't use something like a logo from Apple and put it on my own business website. This would be illegal. If used for education or nonprofit, the rules are a little bit looser. So what can I use? You can find materials that are licensed for reuse or fair use. What is fair use? This is actually defined in the link below, columbia.edu on copyright. And we'll look at another one at the next slide. So here you have a chart that comes from a different website here, ala.org, Fair Use 101. And it gives you kind of a generalized definition of what's considered fair use. So it says the purpose and character of the use. So if it's for nonprofit or education, it's generally okay. What kind of work is it? So if it's a work that's been published or something that's just factual, that can be okay. And then also if you just use a small part of a bigger work, and again, these are a little bit vague in terms of what's okay and what's not okay. And then, of course, whatever you do doesn't interfere with the owner making money from their intellectual property. So there are a lot of places to find things, especially media and other materials that you can reuse. One of the places is CC Search, Creative Commons Search. And this website has a lot of different categories that you can search under. And you would get a list of the types of licenses that are available. The other place is Wikimedia Commons, named similar to Wikipedia, except this is Wikimedia, and there are many different resources there. And then as an educator, Open Education Resources has quite a bit too. It does take some searching and some filtering. So we all love Google, at least I do. And a lot of people search using Google, and there is so much you can find. Google does have a way to look for things called usage rights under search tools. So when you go to search for something, say an image, to the far right of that menu, you can see search tools. And so you just click on that. So once you hit search tools, it'll open up this other row of things, and there's one called usage rights. So you would just select that. And then under usage rights, you get a list of the different types of rights. So when you're searching, if you put not filtered by license, then you're going to get everything, copyrighted and not, so you don't know. But you can select from these others. So you can do labeled for reuse with modification, which means you can use it and modify it. Labeled for reuse means you can use it and not modify it. And then if you want it for education or non-commercial, there's this other category, labeled for non-commercial, reuse with modification, and then labeled for non-commercial use without modification. So the other place where you can find things that are free to use is what's called public domain. And this means, well, public domain is always available and free, and what it means is something that's no longer under copyright because the copyright term is ended, or perhaps because the item was never copyrighted in the first place. So then the question is, how do you know when something is no longer under copyright? So there's the guideline. Anything published after 1922 but before 1978 was protected for 95 years from the date of publication. If it's something that was created but not published before 1978, in other words, after 1978, the copyright lasts for the life of the author plus an additional 70 years. And this is taken from Fair Use from Stanford.edu. Then lastly, if you create something that you want to license, and this is especially in education, you can license your material with Creative Commons licensing. And it's quite easy to do. You go onto the website, there's a form you fill out, and then you get an embed code that you can embed into your online course or onto your website. And you can choose how, if you want it to be shareable or not, and what level. But in any case, it can be attributed to you, so you would have be able to get credit for your work.